Alper Bey, merhaba.
Merhaba Gül Hanım.
Nasılsınız?
İyiyim, teşekkürler. Siz nasılsınız?
Biz deyiz, teşekkürler. Şimdi Varun ve Mary'i de alıyorum.
Ben de izninizle İngilizceye geçiyorum. With that, I'll switch to English as well and greet our guests and just maybe set the stage a bit. Good afternoon and iyi günler. I'm Alper Çelen, founding partner at Enhance Ventures. We're a startup studio focused on vertical marketplaces for the Middle East, based in Dubai. It is my pleasure to host a series of 3 conversations today with top e-commerce experts in the Middle East and Africa. They come from major organizations in the field, namely Amazon, Oman Post, and Jumia. Our goal in these conversations is to introduce these panelists and their firms to Turkish brands and better understand why and how these brands can increase their online sales in the Middle East and Africa markets. A bit of information about the setup of the conversations. There will be a series of 3 conversations, each about 30 minutes long. We're starting a bit late, but I think we can catch up. I have some thought-start questions that I've shared with the participants, but please also feel free as audience members to ask your questions in the Q&A section of Zoom. And I will do my best to review them throughout the conversation and ask them once our questions are done with. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce our first conversation with Amazon. There are 2 very valued members joining us. Mary Gabriel, she's the director of marketplace expansion at Amazon, and Varun Sharma, head of global selling at Amazon. Welcome. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for us to be here. Turkey and the Turkish sellers and Turkish entrepreneurs are very, very valuable, and we love the Turkish brands in our region. So very excited to enabling some of that into this region on e-commerce.
Sounds great. And I know, Mary, I think you're on the move. Things are always moving at Amazon.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. As you guys know, we've recently launched Amazon in Saudi, so we just got called into a quick meeting. I sincerely apologize, but maybe I'll just take a few 5 minutes to
Please, if you can tell us a bit about Amazon's business in the region, just set the stage, that would be great, and then we can continue, obviously, with Varun.
Yes, absolutely. So as you guys know, Souk has been here for more than 10, 11 years now with Ronaldo Shahwar, which is one of the best Arabic entrepreneurs in the region. We established the ecosystem of e-commerce. And then in 2017, we were actually honored that Amazon came to us and acquired Souk. And since then, we were able to change from souk.com to amazon.com, which was quite a significant change, because with Amazon and the technology and Prime, and more importantly, actually enabling global sellers from around the world to sell into the region on Amazon. That's one of the big
with that, I'll switch to English as well.
And then we're going to be almost a month ago, another milestone where we launched Amazon in Saudi Arabia. And the reason why
we're a startup studio
yet another very important
marketplaces for the Middle East, based in
with
Dubai.
that, we're basically
It is my pleasure to host a series of 3 conversations today with top e-commerce
Amazon
experts in the Middle East and
in
Africa.
the entire Middle
They come from major organizations in the field,
for global
namely
sellers,
Amazon,
like the Turkish
Oman
sellers,
Post, and
it means
Jumia.
that you will be
Our goal in
able
these conversations is to
sell
introduce
into the
these
entire
panelists
region.
and their
And
firms
my
to Turkish
role
brands
and Varun's
and better
role,
understand
who's
why
joining
and
me from my
how
team,
these
is
brands can
basically to
increase
remove all of
their
those
online sales in the Middle East and Africa
for
markets.
global sellers to come and sell
A bit
in
of
the Middle East,
information about the setup of the conversations. There will be a series of 3 conversations, each about 30 minutes long. We're starting a bit late, but I think we can catch up. I have some thought-start questions that I've shared with the participants, but please also feel free as audience members to ask your questions in the Q&A section of Zoom. And I will do my best to review them throughout the conversation and ask them once our questions are done with. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce our first conversation with Amazon. There are 2 very valued members joining us. Mary Gabriel, she's the director of marketplace expansion at Amazon, and Varun Sharma, head of global selling at Amazon. Welcome.
this amazing
How are you?
Turkish selection. I personally
Very well. Thank you so much.
It's
It's a pleasure for us to be here.
Into the Middle East.
I mean, Turkey and the Turkish sellers and Turkish entrepreneurs are very, very valuable, and we love the Turkish brands in our region. So very excited to enabling some of that into this region.
Anything specific you love about Turkey? Sounds great. And I know, Mary, I think you're on the
Anything
move.
what specific?
Things are always moving.
I'm so sorry. I
If you want to tell us, drop it, that's great.
As you guys know, we've recently launched Amazon in Saudi.
No, it's okay.
So we just got
I'll
called
spare you
into
the
a
drama
quick meeting.
The brands
I sincerely apologize, but maybe I'll just take a few 5 minutes to.
We used to have a
It's a bit
fashion
about
site in Saudi
Amazon's
Arabia called
business in the
Sukar,
region. Just set
that
the
we then
stage. That would be
merged
great,
into
and then we
Souk.
can continue. obviously, with
And I
the
can
program.
tell you all
Yes,
of our
absolutely.
fashion brands.
So as you guys know, Souk has been here for more than 10, 11 years now, with Ronaldo Shahwar, which is one of the best Arabic entrepreneurs in the region. We established the ecosystem of e-commerce. And then in 2017, we were actually honored that Amazon came to us and acquired in the manufacturing, and we were able to change from Souk.com
So,
NFE to Amazon.com, which was quite a significant change, because with Amazon and the technology
you are able to bring
and
that
Prime, and more importantly, is actually enabling global sellers from around the world.
I mean, I'm sure
to
everyone
sell
knows about the
into
Amazon
the region on Amazon. That's
by
one of the
Amazon
big,
model. That's our
milestones
number
of
one.
Amazon.
That's like, you know, the
And then
the
right,
secret sauce
almost
of Amazon.
we're going to be almost a month
where
ago.
you as a seller,
Another milestone where we launched Amazon in Saudi
fulfill
Arabia.
for you. We
And the reason why
this is
yet another very
model.
important
And also as we
launch Prime,
that,
we're
our
basically
marketplaces
starting to develop the Amazon
that is on
FBA,
the
Amazon
by Amazon
tech stack
the
in the
Prime
entire
badge,
Middle
so
East.
automatically that
And
converts
for
more.
global
So we
sellers,
really
like the
encourage
Turkish
all of our
sellers,
sellers
it means
to
that
have
you will be able to
but
sell
also
into the
we have
entire
an
region.
easy and
And
normal
my
MFN
role
model
and
where your
Varun's
items
role,
remain in
who's joining
Turkey,
me from my
and we
team,
will then
is
Varun can
basically to
explain a little
remove
bit
all
more
of
how
those
we are able to
frictions
ship them into
for
the
global sellers to come and sell in the Middle
So
East.
now Amazon is
Whether it be
available
payment
here in
issues,
UAE
logistics
and
issues,
also in Saudi.
tax, and so
How
forth.
about other
And that's
countries
really
in the
what we
region,
do day and night. And the
footprints
reason we
for
do that is
Amazon or
because
Souk?
are
We
customer
also
obsessed
operate
as Amazon.
in Egypt.
Egypt
We
is
believe
still on the
that our
Souk
global
stack, so
sellers
obviously that
bring
will
that
come soon.
acceleration of the
We
flywheel.
also, the good thing is that if you put your stock in the
our
UAE,
report
you just
Jeff
enabled
Bezos
export
said
very
that
recently.
something
We also
really big has
export
happened
to
at
other
Amazon
countries
in
more
the
than
Middle East.
60%.
So if your
of
item
our
is sitting here in the
global
UAE,
are
you will
actually
also
from our
avail of that
third-party
incremental
sellers.
business that's coming from the rest of the
So
GCC,
we're very
from an
proud to
export
be
perspective.
on, bringing more and more
Sounds great.
third-party sellers.
Can we go through a typical
and
merchant
enabling
journey?
that,
And I want to kind of
this
contrast
amazing
maybe
Turkish selection. I
we're a
personally,
merchant,
I
we
love a
sell
lot
on
of the Turkish
Amazon,
brands.
but we're here in
Into the
UAE
Middle East,
versus
and
a
all
merchant
Arabs,
that
besides
may
the
be
Turkish
coming
drama,
from
of course.
outside,
We
like
also
Turkey.
want the Turkish
Can we
brand.
talk about how a UAE merchant would list with Amazon versus how a Turkish
that is
merchant
great.
would list with Amazon?
Anything
If
specific
Varun
you
then
know about
tackle
Turkey,
that,
Mary?
I think he's much better than I would.
Anything
Anything what
specific?
that
Anything
for you?
specific
What Turkish
as you wish.
drama or brand? I will
Oh,
say a
if
little
you want
bit
to tell
and
it,
then
drop
I
it, that's
will
great.
Kindly disappear. And thank you again for your time.
No,
Thank you
it's
for
okay.
inviting us
I'll
to have
spare you the
a
drama
pleasure.
part. The brands I
thank you,
love,
Mary.
I love
Mary,
LC
thank you very much.
Wakiki. I love Koton.
Yes, Varun.
We
How
used
would
to
we get
have
started,
a fashion site in
working with
Saudi
Amazon?
Arabia called Sukar.
Thank you.
That we
Thanks,
then
Alper,
merged
for
into
first of
Souk.
all
And I can
hosting
tell
us
you
in
all of our
this event.
fashion
I think
brands
it's
were
a
actually
it's a
from
great
Turkey.
opportunity for
Amazing
us to
fast
showcase
fashion
what we
brand.
bring,
And
both in terms of
I think
technology
the
and in terms
Arabic
of scale.
customer
And as Mary
has the
rightly
same
mentioned,
style
with
and
Amazon, we
but
actually
also on
unleash the
textile
potential
and
of global
home.
selling
I mean,
and
we
global
were in
selling
Istanbul and we
opportunities
saw, I can't remember the brand name,
for our
but it is
customers
very
in the
similar
Middle
to
East,
IKEA.
Turkey being one of the
So very, very
key
amazing.
brands
You
that
guys
the customers are looking for.
talented in the manufacturing.
Now, pivoting to your
and we need
question,
that
I think it's
into
a
our
simple four-step process.
So-
I won't complicate
The
it
reason we're
for
here
our
and we're
audience.
super excited is to
And
explain
it's
to
no
you
different
how,
from
while you sit in
what
Turkey,
a seller
are
in
able to
UAE
bring
would
that
do
selection
versus
into
a
the
seller
Middle East.
in Turkey would do. There
And
would
we
be
have
some
very easy
additional
models. I'm sure everyone knows
requirements,
about the
but these
Amazon
are specially to
fulfilled by
facilitate it.
Amazon model.
So,
That's our number
if
one.
I go
That's
through
like,
the steps, the first
the
step
secret sauce
is the
of
registration
Amazon,
process.
where
Registration
you as a
is
seller, we take
through
care
our
of your
self-service
inventory. We
website. The
pack,
website is
we fulfill for you, we collect, and you just, it's an easiest model. And also as we
the
launch
process is pretty
Prime
simple.
in each
We
of our
require a few
marketplaces,
documentation and documentation documentation
item that is on
of their
FBA fulfilled by
origin home
Amazon
country. We
gets
don't
the
need any
Prime badge,
documentation
so automatically that will
of
convert
Dubai.
more and more.
So
We really encourage all
after
of our
the
sellers to do
documentation
an
is submitted,
FBA
we
model
take
to start
normally
with,
between
but
24 to
also
48
we
hours
have
to
an
vet the
easy
documents and
and
make
a normal
the
MFN model where
store
your
available
items
for the
remain in
sellers to
Turkey,
then
and we will then, Varun can
start
explain a little
the
bit more
next
how
step.
we are
The
able
next
to
step
ship them
being
into the
catalog
Middle East.
creation. Depending on
So
the
now Amazon is
seller, big
available
seller,
here
a
in
small
UAE
merchant,
and
or a
also in
large
Saudi. How about
enterprise,
other
we
countries
have
in the
different
region,
ways of
the
integrating the
footprints
catalog. It
for
could be
Amazon or Souk?
an API integration.
We also
it could be
operate in
catalog
Egypt.
creation or a
Egypt is
bulk
still on the
upload.
Souk stack, so obviously that will come
It's
soon.
a very simple process.
We also,
but
the
it's
good
most
thing is that
critical
if you
element
put your
of the
stock
entire
in the
e-commerce
UAE,
journey, because
we've just enabled
these are the
export very
things
recently.
that the
So we
customer
also
will view.
export
So
to
the
other
richer the
countries in
content,
the Middle East.
the higher
So
the
if your
standard of
item
the
is
content,
sitting here in the
the
UAE,
better it is
you
for
will
the
also avail
customers
of
to
that
view,
incremental business that's coming from the
understand
rest of the GCC
the product
from
and
an
then
export
convert it into a
perspective.
sale. So that's, I think,
Sounds great.
it's a simple
Can we go
step,
through
yet
a
very
typical
important.
merchant journey?
Once the catalog is
And I want to kind
created,
of
then,
contrast maybe,
as Mary mentioned,
we're a
we have
merchant,
two
we sell
operation
on
models.
Amazon,
One model is called
but we're here in
merchant
UAE
fulfilled
versus
network.
a
To
merchant
simply
that
put
may be
it, it's
coming
a
from
B2C model.
outside,
An
like
example
Turkey.
would
Can
be
we talk
a
about
Turkish
how,
seller
you
based
know,
in
a UAE
Istanbul
merchant would
shipping the
list with
product
Amazon
directly
versus
into
how a
a
Turkish
customer
merchant
in
would list with
Dubai
Amazon?
without
I leave
without
Varun then to
using
tackle that. I think he's
Amazon
much better than
warehouse,
I would be
but
in
using a
explaining that
third-party
for you.
logistic
As you
provider.
wish.
So that's
I
one
will say a
model.
little
The
bit and
second
then I
model where
will
I think we
kindly
should
disappear.
focus a lot,
And
and
thank you
that is
again for
where
your
the value
time.
addition
Thank
of
you for
Amazon
inviting us
comes
and
into
having us. It's a
picture.
pleasure.
Is the fulfilled by Amazon
Thank you,
model,
Mary. Thank you very
which
much.
is basically forward deploying
Yes,
your
Varun.
inventory into
How
our
would we get
warehouse
started, you
in
know,
UAE
working with
or
Amazon?
other parts of Middle
Thank
East
you.
where we
Thanks,
have,
Alper, for first of
we
all
do this
hosting
pick,
us
pack,
in this
shipping, and
event. I
delivering to
think
the customer.
it's a great opportunity for us to
We can talk
showcase
about the advantages,
what we bring both
disadvantages
in
in a
terms of
while, but these are
technology and in
essentially
terms
the
of
two
scale.
models.
And as Mary
The
rightly
seller can
mentioned,
opt either
with
of them
Amazon,
or
we
can
actually
build a
unleash the
hybrid model
potential
where
of
they
global
have
selling
long
and
tail
global selling
selection in
opportunities
merchant fulfilled network
for our
and head
customers in the
selection
Middle
in
East,
FBA.
Turkey being one of
And the
the
final stage
key
or the final
brands that the
step
customers are
is
looking
about
for.
growth. And we have
Now, pivoting to your question, I
a
think
lot of
it's
tools
a
that we
simple
enable our sellers
four-step
with to
process. I
ensure
won't
that they have
complicate it
right
for our
products,
audience.
they price it right,
And
there is
it's no different
discoverability,
from
sponsored
what
products, there are
a
coupons.
seller in UAE would
There are
do
things that
versus a
we
seller
enable
in
sellers
Turkey would do.
to
There would be
ensure that
some
they are successful
additional
within the first 30 to 40
requirements,
days of
but
launch.
these
And
are
going forward,
especially
it's
to
all about the
facilitate
right
this.
selection
So,
and relevant selection.
if I go through the
simply
steps, the
put,
first
these are
step
4 steps that a
is the
seller can do.
registration
To
process.
be honest, there is no
Registration
difference
is
between a
through our
UAE seller
self-service
and a
website. The website is
international or global seller. The only
services.amazon.com.
difference here would be that a UAE seller, we offer
The process is pretty simple.
pickup
We
service
require a
by
few
Amazon.
documentation,
So we
and
have our own
documentation
fleet where we go and
is
pick up our
of their
products
origin
and
home
deliver
country.
to
We
the
don't need
customer.
any
For a global
documentation
seller,
of
the seller has
Dubai.
to use a
So
third-party service provider
after
on his
the
own.
documentation
We
is submitted,
facilitate a
we
lot,
take
and I can talk more
normally
about
between
it.
24 to 48 hours to vet the documents and make the
Varun,
make
can
the
we
store
elaborate a
available
bit
for the
further
sellers to then
on fulfilled by Amazon
start
versus the
the
merchant
next step. The next step
himself
being
fulfilling with a third
catalog
party?
creation.
I think the audience would really
Depending on the
benefit from like
seller, big
getting a bit
seller,
deeper
a
understanding
small
on,
merchant,
yes,
or a
obviously if it's
large
fulfilled by Amazon, you take a lot of
enterprise,
the
we
heavy
have
lifting,
different
but
ways of
the
integrating
conversion
catalog.
differences,
It
etc.
could be
Could you elaborate a bit
API
more
integration,
about
it
this?
could be one-on-one
Certainly,
catalog
absolutely. I
creation,
think
or
this
a
is
bulk
this is
upload.
very important for businesses to understand.
It's a very simple
Uh,
process, but
Typically,
I would take a use case and try to
because
explain it in a simplistic
these
way.
are the things that the
If I'm
customer
a
will
if
view.
I'm a
So
brand
the
with
richer the content,
a
the high,
large
the
catalog, a
higher the
large
standard of
set
the
of
content,
selection,
the better it is for the customers
I
to
would
view,
I would want to be a hybrid model,
understand
which
the
means
the
I would
product
want
and
to
then
be
convert it
an
into a
MFN
sale.
player
So
as well as
that's,
an
I
FBA
think,
player.
it's a simple
How would I
step,
do that
yet very
is
important.
by
Once the
ensuring
catalog
that
is created,
my
then
entire
The
catalog,
FBI in
as Mary mentioned, we have
FBA
two
in Amazon
operational
terminology
models.
is
One model is
fulfilled by
called
Amazon. Just want to clarify for
merchant fulfilled
the
network.
audience. They may not be so used
Simply
to.
put it, it's a B2C model.
yeah, certainly.
An
Sorry about that.
example would be
Yeah, so
Turkish seller
FBA
based in
is
Istanbul,
fulfilled
shipping
by
the product
Amazon,
directly into a
or
customer
in
Dubai
other terms, to make it even
without
more simpler, it will be
B2B2C kind of a business where you forward deploy your inventory in our warehouse and we do the last mile.
So that's one model.
So coming back to the example, I think
it's important for brands to understand that Fulfilled by Amazon unleashes the potential of the brand to ship products at a very faster pace. So speed is very important. We can offer same-day delivery, next-day delivery, free delivery for our Prime customers. And even when we talk about the advantages, search for the products which are on FBA, they have a higher visibility than products that are on MFN. They have long tail selection in while FBA is something that ensures that your product has a faster rotation, MFN is where you should not miss out on products that the customer is looking for and is relevant, yet it is unique. And you know, you want to first of all gauge the potential of the product before moving that SKU into our FC. So MFN is typically a long tail selection where you ensure that the entire catalog is available for anyone, any customer looking for the product. He can search and then place an order, and you can always use a third-party logistic to service that order. While FBA is where your head selection, your faster rotation, your speed, your delivery promise comes into picture. I'm making it a generic one. There are a little nuances to it. We have help pages to make sellers understand. There are videos. But if I were a brand, I would try to use a hybrid model. If I were a brand with a large catalog, I would use a model which is hybrid in nature.
Can we elaborate a bit further on Fulfilled by Amazon versus
maybe like less than 20.
Self-fulfilling with a third party?
I would use.
I think the audience would really benefit from like getting a bit deeper understanding. Yes, and let's say I'm a Turkish brand with thousands of differences, etc. And I'm a well-known brand. More? Are there ways that these brands can list themselves and have their own, branded store? How do you make that judgment on versus
I would take a use
catalog
case and try to explain it in a simplistic way.
Spreading it across
if I'm
catalog in the category
with
versus providing
a large
catalog, a more dedicated place for a brand.
I think I would want to be a hybrid model, which means Amazon acquisition. I would want to be an MFN player as well as an FBA player that Amazon has made. How would I do that? It has enabled us with a lot of ensuring that my entire
FBA in Amazon terminology is fulfilled by Amazon. Just want to clarify for the audience. They may not be so used to
when I'm in trouble. I think with Amazon it's about what do I do with my FBA is fulfilled by Amazon tools when I'm in trouble, because other terms to make it more simpler, every friction there is a tool kind of have built where you forward deploy your inventory to ensure that and we do they use them rather than contacting us. So coming back to the example, I think it's important for brands to understand that so Fulfilled by Amazon unleashes the potential of the brand into two parts. One is ship functionalities at a very faster pace. So speed is very important. We can offer same-day delivery, next-day delivery, free delivery on Amazon Prime customers. And it's a portal where you go and log in your even when customers, so after you register your account for the products which are on FBA, so within Seller Central, they have a higher visibility than products that are on MFN. Self-service tools to name a few. While FBA is something that ensures that your product has a faster rotation. And MFN is where you should Amazon not miss out on products that are based on the bid keyword, etc. And there are chances that your product will surface. Yet it is unique. And the search query you want to first of all gauge the potential of the product service. You don't need to moving that SKU into our FC. The other MFN is typically a long tail selection where you ensure that the entire catalog is available for anyone. That's also enabled on the product. He at least can search and then place an order, and you can always in a self-service way. Use a third-party in addition, we have to service that order. We enable sellers to participate in a lot of deals. So we have we have deals of the day. We have your self-service deals for promise for sellers. I'm making it participate. A generic one. There are again all these things clubbed together ensure that the discoverability of a brand, as you mentioned. But if I were a brand, I would try to unknown hybrid model. If I were a brand with a large catalog, I would use a brand cold call. I think that's hybrid in nature. Really, but if I'm a brand with a in addition to that, we have a separate selection, maybe like less than 20, where brands can engage with the discussion. Services probably a little long term, maybe a 1-year contract where they
and let's say I'm a Turkish brand with
thousands
of SKUs, and I'm a well-known brand.
leverage the
are
kind
there
of
ways that
merchandising
these
they are
brands
building
can
for other
list
markets or
themselves
other
and have
offline
their
stores.
own,
So those
branded
facilities are
store?
also there. It's
How do you
the
make
second
that
one is
judgment
the
on
paid
versus,
service.
taking
We
a
have a
catalog
dedicated
and kind of,
team
spreading it
for
across
targeting these brands
catalog
to
in
ensure
the
that
category versus
we
providing,
uniform the service, we
a more
harmonize
dedicated
the
place
service
for a
of
brand.
customers.
There
Yeah,
is
absolutely. I think
some
going
questions are
back
coming in,
to
and they're
the
fitting
Amazon
to this
acquisition,
section,
I
so
think
I'll just ask them
one of
now.
the biggest
Essentially,
differences
a couple of audience members are
Amazon
asking a
has
similar
made is
question.
that
It's about
it has enabled
cross-listing.
us with a
I
lot of
think one
self-servicing
audience
tools.
member is already listed in Amazon UK,
I see that
and
some of
another audience
the
member is already
queries of the
listed in
customer or of the
Amazon.ae,
sellers are like,
and they're
who
asking,
do I
can we
reach out to when
cross-list?
I'm in
So for
trouble?
the
I think
UAE
with Amazon it's about
listed
what do
audience
I do
member,
with
can
my
they
seller
somehow
central?
start
What do I
selling
do with
in
my
Saudi without having to have
tools when
stock
I'm
in
in trouble?
Saudi?
Because
Or if
for
they,
every
the UK member
friction, there is a
can
tool
press a
that we
button
have
and
built
say,
for our customers
list me
to
internationally and
ensure
start
that
selling in
they
UAE and
use
Saudi
them
as well.
rather than contacting us. We actually I'll give a bit of a context and then divide this question into two parts. So going back to your question, we have Amazon is relatively new in this market. I would classify them into two parts. One is over a year for us functionalities which there are a lot of tools globally available in Amazon for audience to understand which we are working really hard. It's basically your account central team on Amazon, and it's a portal where you go and log in your credentials. So
I just want to, because some of the audience members may not know the history.
So within
We have
Seller
a
Central,
long
there
history
are
of Souk
a
here,
lot of
right? So you're not just 1 year here. Can you clarify that, please?
Certainly. I think for Souk, it's been, as Mary mentioned, we've been here for almost on Amazon more than there 10 are years, 11 years keyword, etc. Amazon acquired Souk in 2017. The cutover experience happened in May 2019. Again, this is self-service. You don't need to reach out to anyone from Souk to Amazon. And right now, what I mentioned is about the tools available on Amazon, global tools available on Amazon that we are trying to bring, and that's also enabled on the Seller Central for sellers. Having said that, just use it. And again, if your business is in .com, in addition, we have a.com, which is enable sellers to participate, and you have a catalog in US. We have deals of the day. With a click of a button, you can migrate your catalog for sellers to participate. That functionality we have already built. Again, all these we have not yet built the functionality that the discoverability of a brand as you mentioned migrated well-known Turkish. We are working with the teams or unknown Turkish brand having that surface those first. As I said, Alper, I'm going to divide this question into parts. So the first part is about really important. In addition to that, we have a separate their stores in where outside brands can engage with a not in UAE or in Saudi. Probably so a little long term. Maybe the option here is if .com we can immediately would like to surface migrate their catalog in a homogeneous way. For other marketplaces, we are working, but even the experience is merchandising that they are pretty simple. If we use integration, if we use bulk download, those facilities are also. For example, the template that we have for AE, we have a dedicated similar to .uk. So if you download your catalog in UK, upload in AE, your listings will go live. So it's a very seamless experience. However, it's not as simple as
there's some questions are coming in, and they're fitting to this section, so I'll just ask them now. Essentially, a couple of audience members are asking a similar question. It's about cross-listing. I think one audience member is already listed in Amazon UK.
As simple as what I'm saying, it's just a click of a button.
Another audience member is already listed in Amazon.ae. And they're asking, can we cross-list? So for the UAE listed audience member, can they somehow start selling in Saudi without having to have stock in Saudi? Or if they, the UK member can press a button and say, list me internationally and start selling in UAE and Saudi as well.
We also have a functionality of Arabizing your content in Saudi. So that I'll give has also been a bit of a context and then divide this question your catalog in English. But we as Amazon we translate your catalog from English into Arabic. Just over a year for us.
That sounds great. One question came about if somebody wants to list in, let's say, UAE
really hard,
and wants to be Prime, do they have to have a Dubai tax account?
Into UAE.
You may. I just want to. Because some of the audience members may not know the history.
Again,
you have a long history of Souk here.
So one business model was.
So you're not just 1 year here.
The other one was FBA.
Can you clarify that, please?
Amazon or B2B. Certainly. I think for Souk, it's been, as Mary mentioned, we've been here for almost. There are two critical elements more than you have to take 10 years, 11 years with Souk. One, Amazon acquired Souk in 2017. IOR or the cutover experience happened in May 2019, where we moved from UAE to Amazon. And right now, what I mentioned, service providers, we have external tools available on Amazon, global tools available on Amazon, but you are free to choose your own IOR into UAE. These will basically help you to clear the customs and get the goods. If your business is in .com, second very important A.com, which is in US, element, and you have a catalog in US. So with a click of a button, you can migrate your catalog with our public .com to ensure that functionality we have already built. We have not yet built a functionality. We are very happy to say that UK catalog can be migrated a lot with the. We are working with the public policy. Very soon we'll be having that functionality. Streamline or as I said, Alper, I'm going to divide this question into two parts. So the first part is about it's again sellers who are having their stores in outside Middle East, so like not in UAE or in Saudi. So the option here is if .com, we can immediately migrate their catalog. For other marketplaces we are working, but even the experience is pretty simple if we use integration, if we use bulk download. For example, the template that we have for AE is absolutely similar if the value is .uk. So if you download your catalog in UK, upload in AE,
understood.
Your listings will go
moving down the chain,
it's a very seamless experience.
So let's say we're listed and we're making
as
sales. Can you comment on
now
customer care
the question where if you have
returns?
A catalog in UAE and if
How
you
is
want
that
to migrate into Saudi,
it's the loveliest point of our business.
UAE, we have a functionality
where
where we can,
let's say here in UAE,
as simple as what I'm saying,
in
it's
Saudi,
just a
there's
click of a
differences.
button. You set your price and then the entire catalog within, depending on the size, if it's a massive catalog, it takes like 4 hours, 5 hours. Just to address your second question first, and your catalog will be available in departments. So those functionalities are available, as well as there is a team taking care of returns. You may want to, and we also have, so they take care of it. We also have a functionality of Arabizing your content for customer care. So while we have a dedicated team, and I think they are where you not only list your catalog in English, but we as Amazon, we translate your catalog from English into Arabic.
That sounds great. One question came about if somebody wants to list in, let's say, UAE and wants to be Prime, do they have to have a Dubai tax account?
Asking anything about the product, about shipment, about maybe anything that they need to address before they make the purchase or after they make the purchase. Again, go back to the two business models. So one business model was still if the customers have a problem, the other one was FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, kind of B2B. They can either file a complaint directly on the website, or there are two critical elements that you have to take in their own metrics to evaluate customer complaints. We need and we have a lot of importer on record, for your KPIs to track customer complaints and to ensure that customers are satisfied. We have say as service providers, we have external partners. That's important for facilitate these services, but you are free to choose your own IOR. When you move your products into FBA, these will basically help you to clear the and everything is taken care by Amazon. So that's again a beauty of FBA where we are responsible not only for delivery or ship back, we are also responsible for taking back your returns in case we have been working, it's a customer related with our public policy team to ensure that VAT calls up, we ensure that we reply properly. We are very happy to say that we have tried to work should be one of the incentives for the public policy team to move the products into FBA. Streamline or remove returns again as registration. And I think in the previous panel there were some numbers, so I won't go into the numbers. You can go ahead. I think it's important to know that returns you are a given. There will be returns in e-commerce. The percentage can vary depending on the category. To see what we have done is we have facilitated de minimis MFN or the merchant fulfillment or around $200 model by somebody mentioned, providing a prepaid above label. That you need as a merchant you can provide a prepaid label to the customer where the value they can ship back their product to pay VAT either a local warehouse or like I think there was a previous
moving down the chain. So let's say we're listed and we're making sales, third party delivery. Can you comment on that you work customer care if you would warehouse them return country or how is that back to the originating country? It's the loveliest point of our business. So one question: if I list with FBA here in UAE, does that automatically qualify my products different lines?
Absolutely.
For free
That's
shipping,
the beauty.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
For free
there
shipping,
won't be
much of
any promotion that we
just to address
do.
your second question first, because
Discoverability becomes
we have
much
centralized
higher.
departments taking care of
SBA is the
customer
way to
care, as
go.
well as
Like
there is a
sooner
team
or
taking
later,
care
at
of
some
returns.
point of
Time in
channel
your
or a
business
market
journey, I
agnostic,
think
so they take care of
you
it,
need to evaluate the
across
services of this.
UAE and
Maybe in
Saudi.
the last minute,
For customer
Varun,
care, while we have a dedicated team,
obviously
and I think
Amazon is a very
best
large
poised
company,
to answer a lot of
and
questions about customer
you're
care, but
trying to
what I
make
can
the
simply
listing
put across
process
is,
as seamless as possible.
for customers
And
yet
I'm sure there are challenges, etc. Are there things that the Turkish brands that are in the audience right now can do to make it easier on themselves and on Amazon
maybe
in the listing process? Are there like common mistakes that you
before
find
they make the purchase or after they make the purchase? So those
that they can avoid?
has already been taken care of. Still, if the customers have a problem with depending on the kind of description, they can either file a complaint directly on the website, or they can reach out to the customer care, and customer care have their own. There could be different value at customer error that the seller makes, but I think we have a lot of for merchants KPIs to track us guidelines to ensure that customers are satisfied. If you adhere or if you stick to the guidelines that we have published for I think that's important. 9 out of 10 times we won't feel any, or we won't see any sort of when you move your products into FBA creation. I know that with returns and everything is taken care by Amazon. So that's again a beauty of FBA, where we are responsible not only for delivery or ship back, we are also responsible for taking back API integrations as well as customer related upload tools to ensure that their catalog goes live. Calls up, we ensure that. I just want to stress upon another fact. For those things are brands where that should be one of the incentives they want to sell merchants to move into the Middle East, and they have coming on to returns, high quality, rich content. We also offer panel. There were some numbers. I won't go into the numbers. Catalog where you can upload your videos. I think it's important to know that returns, high resolution images. So those facilities are available for the brands. The percentage can again, depending on the category. Point to harmonize the what we have done is we have facilitated.
One last thing, I'm just looking at the Q&A. I think we handled almost everything, but a couple people asked, brief about Vendor Central and scope in UAE, and going forward, what are Vendor Central opportunities?
Either a local warehouse or I wanted to address at the beginning. I think there are two models that Amazon operates in. One is retail,
and that third-party delivery company that you work with, right? If you would warehouse them in country or return them back to the originating country,
I know everything about marketplace, but retail I won't be able to comment.
One question: if I list with
or I'm not
FBA,
the right person for
does that automatically qualify my products for
with the
Prime?
right folks in case absolutely.
For free shipping. Okay, understood, right? And then maybe that's the last thing, that is the last segue. What is the best way that these audience members can contact Amazon and start looking into doing business with you here in the Middle East?
Sooner or later, at some point of key things, some part of time in your with Amazon, as I mentioned, is like we want to have a contactless operation.
Maybe in the last minute,
I think if the sellers are still facing issues,
obviously Amazon is a very large company, and you're trying to make the listing process as seamless as possible. And yet I'm sure there are challenges, etc. Are there things that the Turkish brands that are in the audience right now can do to make it easier on themselves and on Amazon in their listing process? Are there like common mistakes that you find
which is very relevant for this audience? But still, if you have any issues, I think I'm more than happy in case. I think I see a lot of depending on the over LinkedIn. So I mean, I'm more than happy to how updated the seller is, how well versed the seller is.
Thank you so much, Varun. We're just on half an hour, so I'll call the session. Thanks for attending, and thanks also to Mary as well, and say hi to Ronaldo as well. And great enlightening, session, and I hope the audience members also really benefit from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks a lot, and we won't see any sort of catalog creation. I know that with Souq we had
if you don't mind, I'll move on to the next session.
Amazon, it has scaled massively.
Yes, I just added Mr. Ehab as a panelist.
API integrations as well as
sounds great.
Hi, Alper.
Sure that they're
Hi,
live.
Good to have you.
I just want to stress
nice to have you as well. So, this is our next conversation is with Ehab Al-Dissi. He's CEO of Arsal at Oman Post. Welcome, Ihab.
high quality.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alper. It is a huge opportunity for us as well to be here to present to you guys and the merchants from Turkey over how we can help you in Oman and across the board in the Middle East. So thank you so much for you, and many thanks to Mr. Hassan Omar for arranging this excellent opportunity.
Sounds great. Nice to have you here. Oman is one of my favorite places, not only in everything, but around the world. A couple people asked, an awesome country with a very rich history, a very interesting, attractive market as well. And going forward, what are Vendor Central? Could we start by better informing our audience about Oman and the market
I wanted to address
there?
at the beginning. I think
tell us a bit about the demographics and
one is retail,
yes, of course.
Retail is more traditional.
When we look at the market of Oman in general, we are attributed to be super young. More than 50% of our audiences that are based out of the country are less than 25 years old. The online penetration is really high. Something interesting about the market in the past 3 months.
And maybe that's the last thing, that is the last segue. What is the best way that the audience members can contact Amazon
something
and start
online during the COVID-19 era, which we call it since March until today. So we see that the consumer behavior is really changing heavily, and we as well can see that a lot of international players are coming into this part of the world and being interested. And definitely would love as well to welcome you guys as well to have your own footprint in here. Other than the fact that the market is quite virgin, we as well have a very high or tech-savvy audience. We are really inclined to buy things from the outside. We are heavily an importing country overall. We have loosened up a lot of the investment procedures that we used to have here in Oman. So now it is more than often that you can see a lot of global players opening their own headquarters in here. For us as Oman Post, precisely, we're not here only to promote the market actually of Oman.
Thank you so much for
speaking a bit about
just on half an hour or so.
Trying to do. Although we are a state-owned
thanks for attending, and thanks also to
we do
Mary
have
as
a
well.
sister company which is Oman Air, and with that facilitation
Ronaldo
we
as
can
well.
support the
And,
rest of the Middle
great
East.
enlightening
There is a need for a last mile delivery or for a line haul movement. We have a lot of international players that are based out of China. Today, with the COVID-19 situation, we can see that the consumers' interest in such origins is a little bit lower than before, so that's why this might be a huge opportunity as well for the Turkish merchants to come and fill the gap as far as the market opportunity is really going. So Oman overall is populating the third largest country in the
Nice to have you as well. So, this is our next conversation is with Ihab Al-Dissi. He's CEO of Arsal and Oman Post. Welcome, Ihab.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alper. It is a huge opportunity for us as well to be here to present to you guys and the merchants from Turkey over how we can help you in Oman and across the board in the Middle East. So thank you so much for you, and many thanks to Mr. Hassan Omar for arranging this excellent opportunity.
It's quite attractive. Sounds great. Quite a bit of concentration of population. Oman is one of my favorite places, in a way, not only in the Middle East, but around the world. Because an awesome country with a very rich history, and a very interesting, attractive market as well.
40 to 50% of the population.
Could we start by better informing our audience about Oman and the market opportunity there?
Country, which makes
tell us a bit about the demographics
audiences
and,
as far as the last month delivery. When we look at the market of Oman in general, we are attributed to be super young. More than 50% of our Post and audiences that are based out of the country are less than 25 years old. The online penetration is really high. Something interesting about the market in the past 3 months is that around 40% is one of the first-time purchasers have bought something online during the COVID-19 era, which we call it since March until today. So we see that the consumer behavior is really changing heavily, and we as well can see that a lot of international players are coming into this part of the world and being interested. Many merchants would love as well to welcome you guys as well to have your own, or we have an established relationship other than the fact that the market is quite virgin. We are as well have one of the suppliers of the major last audience companies. We are really inclined to buy things from the outside. We are heavily importing country over service. We have loosened up a lot of the other direction of the procedures that we used to have here in Oman. So now it is more than often that you can see a lot of global players opening their own headquarters.
a Turkish brand that
for us as Oman Post, precisely, we're not here only to promote the market actually of Oman.
The logistics and last mile services.
Speaking a bit about Oman Post and things that we are trying to do. Although we are today, as I said, we do have a sister company. Definitely for Oman, that's going to be our starting point. We are establishing our own 25,000 square meters hub. It will be constituting we have a lot of international players that are based out of China. Today, with the COVID-19 situation, we can see that the consumers' interest in this region out of Oman origins is a little bit lower than before. So that is why this might be a selling opportunity as well for the Turkish merchants to come and fill the gap as far as the Malaysia, Qatar. So Oman overall is populating as we would like to be called ourselves a hub, not only as a company that is really when it comes to the area. For the purchase power,
what specific opportunities do you see for Turkish brands?
We are eventually a GCC country that is really focused. If you look at the demographics, lately the biggest becoming the hub rise is by the year 2040. With that understanding as well, we are trying to be attractive for the nations that we are trying to sell. The exchange of goods between Oman and Turkey has grown by around 55%.
And I imagine that
so if you look at the year 2019 versus the year 2020, and year to date it's around 55%
one place
and it is really happening across all the goods that you can consume as an end user.
So just comparing the first
normally
6 months,
we have around 40 to 50% of the population graduated the first 6 months 2019 is the largest city in the country, which makes it really easy for you to reach your audiences as far as the last month delivery is concerned. So as well, we can see that the consumer in Oman are really fans of Irsal is a JV between Oman Post and players that are already starting. We are here to facilitate players. We do believe as well that there is still a huge opportunity when it comes to the other vertical sourcing countries. Now we can see that there is some kind of demand for the other Far Asian countries. We can see that the food items as well are on the spike. We have our own line specialty services as well, not only into the whole region finished goods. As far as Irsal goes, we do not look at ourselves as especially the case for Oman, since the consumer is, but we have our confident than before with the Chinese many mergers and acquisitions. So we do believe that being cooked now, or we have an established relationship with Bin Javan and Fitcher currently speaking. We are as well one of the suppliers of the major last mile companies. So the likes of, for example, DHL, the likes of Postpass, you will see that they are utilizing our service to do on their behalf the last mile. But that comes as well the other direction of the movement when it comes to the
probably getting exposed to Turkish brands while they come as tourists as well. So a Turkish brand that wants to sell in Oman,
beyond you said that you are not only about Oman.
The logistics and last mile services for in Oman, and ourselves to work with Turkish brands beyond Oman.
As I said, it's not only the focus of Oman. As a postal operator, that's going to be our starting point as well. We are establishing our own 25,000 square meters hub. It will be constituting we do entertain an intra. It will have the latest technology migrated into it, so we can support out of Oman this region, out of Oman for the region for inside the country trade. Such countries that we can selling of goods into the GCC countries. That says we are supporting Morocco, Tunisia, we can reach Qatar. We have our own line haul into UAE. It might be really useful for you guys. We would like to be called ourselves is very elemental, not only a small company that is really focused markets. And we do believe that we have a very
what specific opportunities do you see for Turkish brands?
Very decent last mile service. If you look at the demographics, lately the biggest rise is witnessed in the
tax regime,
baby wears
and customs.
Overall.
So
year to year, overall, the exchange of goods between Oman and Turkey has grown by around 55%. Okay, so if you are international 2019 versus the year 2020, you will have the right to be selling your items in Oman. Is going to be generally and it is really happening across all the goods that you can consume as far as you're going to be taxed for 5%.
Just comparing the first 6 months of 2019?
Nothing else beyond that is going to be. So the first now, 2019,
is there any
minimum 6 months of 2020, 55%
there's
the growth rate overall.
It's beyond 1,000 dirhams. I think.
Yeah, well, if it's less than 30 riyals, we can see that the consumer in Oman are really going to be exempt. There's going to be no 5% even to be paid. So which is quite good. The basket value, by the way, in Oman as well, that there is still 150 to the other verticals. Now we can see that there is some kind of demand for the personal use items. We can see that people are really food items as well are really spike. We can see as well some specialty services as well, not only the product or it is attributed to be out of Turkish origin. So yeah, we do believe that there is a huge this is especially the case for Oman, since the consumer is less confident than before with the Chinese merchant. So we do believe that it might be a good opportunity for you guys to fill that gap. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it depends on different factors. For example, if you're looking into the electronics, it is almost 2 or 3%. For the apparel, usually it might jump up to 15%. If it's a high season, it might hit 17%. But if it's a normal rate, it's not really a high season. It would be usually at around 10 to 9%, no more than that.
Okay, great.
Beyond, you said the efforts, you are not only about Oman itself.
Do you see opportunities for e-commerce ecosystem there?
Oman
and availability of our places work with Turkish brands beyond Turkish brands can list with?
Yes, of course. Oh boy, I mean, this is, and I think my friend Hakan as well, the government, I'm not sure if he's really speaking about, we have our own postal network. They are trying to heavily work on the ecosystem overall and to make it really attractive connection that is going to be managing the line haul out of Oman. The country overall for the region on a very discounted rate. Yes, we are the third such countries that we have to be a bit more reliant on the foreign investments. With that comes the easy taxation. Now you don't have to have an Omani partner, guys, because the logistic cost is very elemental. There are huge steps that have been undertaken to make it. And we do believe that we have when it comes to re-exporting, and which is coupled with a very decent success of the other merchants that are of foreign nationalities.
So overall, it's an
ongoing effort that the government is trying to.
What about the tax regime?
As you can see, the likes of
if I'm a Turkish
Kuwait, UAE, and even Saudi are taking giant steps.
What would I face?
And Oman is no exception. So if you are an international seller, not only a Turkish seller, you will have the right to be selling your items in Oman. It is going to be generally speaking on a tax-free basis. As far as you're going to be taxed for 5% of customs duties.
100%.
Nothing else. Good question. Good question. Now, definitely. So we have a program that is called the Upscale program. It's going to be incubated by. Yeah, well, if it's less than 30 riyals, which is around $85, you're going to be exempt. There's going to be no 5% out of taxes. So which is quite good. The basket value, by the way, in Oman is above the 150. It will be really facilitating for you the reach. So you would say that the basket value is quite extensive. The online penetration is really high. People are really tech savvy and they're really available. And there's going to be appreciate sponsorship, let's say, technology. Turkish brands something of it is attributed to be as far as there is an opportunity for the overall. So yeah, we do believe that there is a huge gap. We have to be a bit selective with the type of ventures that we are trying to sponsor. But this is something that we are already offering in the market.
Oman, I know it varies from category to category, but like, do you have any other advice that you'd like to give to these Turkish brands that are in the audience?
I mean, it depends on different factors. Guys, if you're looking into the electronics, just come in. I mean, seriously, there is a gap in the market, and the power of selection that's offered in the Omani market today is very, very, very minimal. But if it's a normal, and we do believe that the Turkish merchants really high season, there would be usually at around the overall ecosystem. We do enjoy good connections with Turkey, which is going to be availing the goods for a last mile delivery at a very discounted rate. This is something that we would love to be speaking with any of the international Turkish merchants to have. Oh boy, I mean, this is waiting for you guys. Talk that the government has been never better than speaking about on every single opportunity.
What I hear from you is,
heavily work on the ecosystem overall.
UAE Saudi,
to make
Egypt,
it
these
really
are large markets and
attractive
they're great,
for the foreign investors.
There's lots of competition and lots of selection
the
there.
country overall
And
is
maybe some of
small
the things
when
are
it
more
comes to its
expensive as well.
population. Yes, we are the third biggest population, but we have to be a bit more reliant on the foreign investments. With that comes the easy taxation. Now you don't have to have a Omani partner with you, definitely for different sectors. Yeah, I mean, you said it rightly. I mean, it's easy for whoever is going to become re-exporting market to become the new big shark in the tank, right? Because there is not a lot of players in the market. So overall, it's an ongoing
There's
effort
one
that
question that came in and says, with postal in other
as you can
countries,
see,
how is the last
likes
mile managed in
of
case of Aircel?
Kuwait, UAE, and even Saudi are taking
for
giant steps.
as Oman Post, we do offer the last mile
as far as the postal operator is offering it. Today, it is a fact. Not
Are
all
those
the
things
postal
already
operators
available, or
are
are they
offering
worked on
last
it?
mile.
For example, if
Some
I'm
of them are
a
offering
major
it,
Turkish
but
fashion
not
brand
not
or
be
a home
up
goods
to the
brand,
mark that we would be
can I easily
offering to
go
our clients.
start a
So we have a
company,
selection of
100%
companies. We have selection of
foreign
operators that we have very close ties with. So we have a program that is called the Upscale program, and we can share a list of countries that are incubated by Oman Post and the Ministry of Transport. So it is offered not everywhere, designated area, which is a tax-free area. You can have
that
all the
sounds
support
great.
that is
And
required. You're going to be exempt out of taxes.
I don't have any more
as far
questions,
as
and
you
I think
can
we asked the
operate
questions
out of
that
Oman,
the audience
as far
asked as
as you
well.
own the
Do you have
technology.
any closing
It's going to
comments
be really
that
facilitating
you'd
for
like to
you
add
the reach
to
to the good
the session?
calibers of candidates to work with
The
you in
final
backing,
thought that I would
tax
be
exempt
really
mechanism
focused on is
available
that
tech. There's
when
going
it
to be
comes
as
to
well
the
a
first
sponsorship
mile and the line haul,
this is
we
something
have
of your concerns.
offered and
As far as there is an
a
opportunity
very
for the overall
operate
country,
at a
right?
very good
I mean, we
service
have to be a bit selective.
We have
with
covered
the type
country
of
for the last
ventures that
mile
we are trying to sponsor.
Also,
but
we
this
are
is something that we
covering
are
the rest of
already
the
offering
region
in the market.
with the last mile delivery. We have the COD
Sounds
service,
great.
which
Do
is
you have
coupled with a very
any other
high
advice that you'd
KPI
like to give
that
to
is really
these Turkish brands that are in the audience?
We do believe that we know the audience better than many other
don't wait.
players.
Just
Since this
come
is our
in.
bread
I mean,
and butter today.
seriously, there is a
So we
gap
do
in
not
the
want to be
market,
seen
and
as a postal
the power
operator,
of
but
selection
more like
that
an
is offered in the Omani market today is very minimal
that is
at
trying
this
to
moment.
focus on the
And we
Middle
do
East.
believe that the Turkish
You did say
merchants and
COD,
availability of their
and
products
it
is
does
going
beg
to
the
be
question,
enriching the
how big is that
overall
in Oman,
ecosystem.
in your
We do
experience?
enjoy
The
COD
let's say good
overall.
connections with Turkey,
I
which
mean,
is
if
going
you
to be
leave the
availing
opportunity
goods
for your
for a
end
last
customer
mile
to
delivery
decide,
at a very
you would be
discounted rate
having
is something
around
that we would love to be
80%
speaking
of
with
COD
COD, 20% on the
international or the Turkish
market
merchants
overall
have.
is inclined
So, no
to be
time to
receiving the
waste.
shipment
We're
on
waiting for
COD.
you
I mean,
guys.
as an end
And
consumer,
as I said,
you will be
it has
you
been
will
never
have
better than now.
the freedom of choice.
So
pick
what
that
I hear from
option.
you is,
However,
with that
UAE,
being said as
Saudi,
well,
Egypt,
although the
these are large
COD is
markets and
really
they're
high,
great,
we
but
have entertained very
there's
high
lots of
success
competition
rate
and lots of
overall.
selection
I
there.
mean, versus the other
And
countries,
maybe some of the
usually
things
it
are
is
more
really above
expensive
the
as well,
average.
like last mile and
have you
delivery and
seen
logistics.
COD
There's
drop
during the time
more
of COVID
like
times,
clear
Well,
blue ocean
because of the contactless
availability in
delivery
Oman, where there
that
is a
the
sizable
customers
market
were really
and
keen on
there's a lack
having.
of selection.
Yes, we have seen some kind of drop.
you've said it
However,
rightly.
we do
I mean,
not
it's
think
easy
that
for
this is for whoever is going to become, if he's focused on this market, to become the new big shark in the tank,
coming back
right?
to the
Because there is not a lot of
80%
players in the
before
market
the
at
end
the
of
moment.
this year.
But yeah, definitely we have seen some drop.
There is one question that came in and says, with postal in other countries, how is
really
the
nice to have you,
managed in case
and
of
thanks for
sharing with us
for
both information about
as
Oman,
Oman
but
Post,
also
we do
beyond,
offer the last mile
about Oman
as
Post
far
and
as
also
the postal
Aircel.
operator is
I
offering
really
it.
appreciate your input.
Today it is a fact.
Thank you
Not
so much.
all
Thank
the
you
postal
for your time.
operators are
Hopefully
offering
to see you
last
around.
mile.
One
Some of
last
them
thing
are
is,
offering it,
how
but
would
not
these
be up
brands
to the
contact
mark
you
that we would
if they
be
want to
offering to our
I can share my
So we have
email.
a selection of
I think
companies.
I've shared it already with the team of
that
Hassan.
we have very close ties with. That we migrate.
I can also leave my WhatsApp number.
And we can share
whenever
whenever
there is a
that you're
requirement
really
for more than
confident
about
about them
support
when
when
it comes to the last mile delivery.
Sounds great.
So it is
thanks
offered
for joining
everywhere.
us.
Thank you so much.
But for good
Okay.
companies today.
Thank you.
That sounds
And
great.
Ms.
And,
Gül,
I don't have any more
Ms.
questions, and I think we
Apurva
asked the
is
questions that
here
the
as
audience
well
asked
now.
as well.
okay,
Do you have
great.
any closing comments that you'd like to add to
I'll wait for him to see
the session?
Hey guys, hello
The
Arthur,
final
how are you?
thought that I
How
would
are you?
be really
It's
focused
very
on
good,
is
thank you.
that
It's
when
been a
it
very
comes to
interesting
the first
afternoon. I've been
mile and the
listening the
line
whole
haul,
day, and
we
it's
have
been very
offered and
educational
we
and good
still
to
have
finally talk to
a
you.
very discounted rate at a
Nice
very
to talk
good
to you as
service
well.
level.
So
We
next
have
conversation
covered
is
the
with
country
Apurva
for the
Kumar,
last mile
Senior Vice
entry.
President at
Also, we
Jumia
are
Group.
covering the rest
Apurva,
of
are
the
you
region
here in
with
Dubai?
the last mile delivery.
Or
We
are
have
you?
the COD
No,
service,
I
which is
am
coupled
living
with
in
a very
Egypt.
high
I
KPI
basically
that
travel
is
and live out
really
in
focused on
Southern
the
Africa.
e-commerce players.
Last 7
We do
years, I've
believe that
lived
we know
in
the
Nigeria,
audience
in
better
Morocco, in
than many
Kenya,
other
and
players
before
since this is our bread
the
and butter
lockdown
today. So we do
started,
not
I
want
was
to
in
be
Egypt
seen
and I
as a
decided to
postal
stay here.
operator, but
Okay,
more
sounds
like
great.
an
You're in Cairo, I
eco
imagine.
Yes, I'm in
flash
Cairo.
fulfillment
It's where we also have
player
our
that is trying
largest
to
office, in
focus
fact,
on the
and
Middle East.
it's a place that I haven't visited in a long
You
time.
did say COD, and
it does beg the
so
question.
maybe that's a great segue.
How
You
big
just
is
talked
that
about
in
different
countries
Oman,
that you've been working
in
at,
your experience.
and
The
some of the
COD
brands that are in the
overall,
audience.
I mean, if you
may
leave the
not be
opportunity for your end
already selling
customer to
in
decide,
Africa, they may
you
not
would be
know
having
Africa, they may
around
not know Jumia Group,
80% on
although
COD,
you are the
20% on
sizable,
prepaid.
African
The
player.
market
Can you
overall
tell us
is
a bit about
inclined
Jumia
to
Group's
be receiving
business
the shipment on
and
COD.
where
I
you
mean, as
are,
an
the
end
footprint?
consumer, you will
Yeah,
be
exactly.
you will have
Exactly.
the
Look, Alper, I think
freedom of
it's
choice
a good
to
good
pick that
point that you
option.
mentioned that
However,
sometimes
with that being said as
people
well,
don't
although
really
the
see the
COD is
opportunity
really
in
high,
Africa. So
we
let's
have
start a little bit with
entertained
Africa,
very high success
the
rate
overall
overall.
context of
I
the
mean, versus the
continent
other
and the
countries,
business, and
usually
then
it is
let's
really above the average.
translate to Jumia and why
And
Jumia, Vehicle,
have you
etc.
seen
Okay.
COD drop during the times
Africa,
of
I think
COVID times?
so.
Well, but
Today,
because of the
Africa is a very big
contactless
opportunity
delivery
for
that
retail
the customers
and
were really keen
for
on
e-commerce,
having,
but very
yes, we
specifically
have
in general,
seen
a very big
some kind
opportunity.
of drop. However,
What are
we
the
do
macro
not think
stats?
that this is an organic drop.
1.4
It
billion
might be really
people.
coupled with the season of the
2050 going
COVID-19.
to be 2.5
So it
billion
might be coming
people.
back to the normal
If you
range of
remove India
80%
and China out of
before
the
the end of this year.
population,
But yeah, definitely we
it's
have
going to
seen
be
some
about
drop.
38-39% of the world's population in 2050.
That sounds
So
great.
about 30 years
Really
from
nice
now,
to
it's going
have
to be
you,
about 40% of
and
world's
thanks
population.
for sharing with
Today's
us
average
both
age
information about
is
Oman, but also
19
beyond
point some
about
years,
Oman
so
Post
roughly
and also
20 years.
Arsal. I
The
really appreciate
middle
your
class
inputs.
is growing
Thank you so much.
at
Thank you Alper, for
30
your
to
time,
40%
and
year on
hopefully
year,
to see
which
you
is
around.
One last
compared
thing
to the
is,
next
how would
fastest
these
growing
brands
block,
contact
it's
you
quite exponential.
if they want to do
And
I can share
those
my
are the
email.
big macro
I think I've shared
parameters
it already with the team of
for
Hassan's.
retail
So
in
please
general and
feel free
e-commerce
to drop
also
me an
to sort
email.
of trigger
I
out.
can also
Okay.
leave my WhatsApp number. So whenever there is a
Before
requirement,
Jumia,
we're more than happy to
I've been with
support you.
Jumia since inception, but before
Sounds
Jumia, I
great.
was working
Thanks
for
for
an e-commerce group
joining
in
us.
Thank you
India,
so much. Thank you.
and which is
Cheers.
about 8 years
Thank
ago.
you.
You know, Flipkart, Myntra,
And
and
Ms. Gül,
similar macroeconomic trends about 9 years ago
move
in
on
India.
Apurva is
With
here
respect
as
to
well
internet
now.
in Africa,
Okay,
and really
great.
that's where I think you start seeing the difference. Okay,
I'll wait
today out of the
to
1.3
see
billion
him.
people,
Hey guys,
550
hello Arthur,
million
how
people
are
in
you?
Africa are
How
already
are
using
you?
internet, which is growing
It's
at 10
very
to
good, thank you.
15% year on
It's
year.
been a very interesting afternoon.
Again,
I've been
comparing to
listening
the
the
other
whole day, and
economies,
it's
this is
been very
quite a
educational
fast
and
growing
good to
number.
finally talk to you.
Nice
We
to talk to you as
recently
well.
did some
So next
study with
conversation
one of the
is
top
with Apurva
consulting
Kumar,
companies, and we came up
Senior
to a
Vice President
conclusion
at
that
Jumia
it's
Group.
public actually.
Apurva, are you
That
here in
in the
Dubai?
next 5 years, the
Or are
internet
you?
using
No,
population in Africa is going to
I
be
am living in
700
Egypt.
million.
I basically travel
That's
and live
huge.
out in Southern
So we're
Africa.
talking about
Last 7
700
years,
million
I've
people
lived in
with
Nigeria,
access to
in Morocco, in
smartphone,
Kenya,
with
and
average
before
age of, I don't know,
the
24,
lockdown
23.
started, I was in
This is
Egypt and I decided to stay
really,
here.
really big,
Okay, sounds great.
sitting,
You're in Cairo, I
huge
imagine.
potential,
Yes,
right?
I'm in
And I
Cairo.
think
It's where we also
sometimes
have
those
our
numbers,
largest
when you
office,
take
in
a
fact,
second and you start
it's a
thinking
place that I
about
haven't visited in a long time, but it's a
700
big,
million
awesome
people
city.
in this continent are going to be
So
using
maybe that's a great segue.
smartphones.
I mean, you just talked
Are
about
going to be
different countries
shopping
that you've been
online.
working
When
at.
you say, okay, look,
And
we need to be
some of the
here, right?
brands that
So
are
that's really
in
about
the
the
audience
potential. Now,
may
what
not
is
be
happening today?
already selling in
Today,
Africa. They may not know Africa. They may
the
not know
penetration
Jumia
of
Group,
organized
although
retail
you are
and
the
in
sizable
general e-commerce touch
African
is
player.
quite limited.
Can you
in
tell us a bit
Africa,
about
okay?
Jumia Group's
To give you
business
stats,
and where you are, the footprint?
one shop.
Yeah,
etc.
exactly.
mom and pop store or whatever.
Look, Alper, I think
it's a good point that you mentioned that, you know, sometimes
that number
people don't really see the opportunity in Africa.
US is like 1:1,000.
Okay.
The overall context
So
of the continent and the business.
Europe,
I
think, is actually
like
less than 1,000.
translate to Jumia and why Jumia,
Okay.
vehicle, etc.
Out of that,
So Africa, I think
$2.5 trillion was spent today. 2018.
Africa is a very big opportunity for retail and
less than 1%
for e-commerce, but very specifically in general, a very big opportunity.
In China, e-commerce
what are the
is
macro
20%,
stats?
US is 12%.
1.4 billion people.
So if you put those numbers together,
2050 going to be 2.5 billion
seeing those in
people.
context, and you're saying
If you remove India and China out of the population, it's going to be about 739% of the world's population in 2050 using internet.
30 years from now,
Only 1% population on e-commerce.
This has to grow. There is no
Today's
way
average age is 19.
$2.5 trillion
to be spent was spent 2 years ago. The middle class
this year
growing at 30 to 40% year on year, which so that's really setting up compared to the next best, fastest growing block. It's geographically.
A lot of countries,
those are the big
I think
macro parameters
the GDP of Africa is
retail in
top
general
12,
and e-commerce
countries.
Also to sort of trigger
As
out.
Jumia,
we are based in 11 countries
before,
in Africa.
Before Jumia,
before I've been with Jumia since
e-commerce,
inception, but before Jumia
platform
in those countries
countries.
group in India,
and
which is about 8 years ago.
Of course, let's go.
We start with similar macroeconomic trends about 9 years
Egypt,
ago in
Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco.
With respect to
these are
internet
the
in
northern
Africa,
side,
really,
the four countries.
I think
You
then on
start
the
seeing
Western
the
Africa, we have Senegal,
Today,
Ghana,
out of the
Ivory
1.3
Coast,
billion people,
Nigeria is a very big country. So
150
these
million people in
then
Africa
on the east side, we do today
internet,
Kenya and Uganda, and then we're present in South Africa. So again,
that's a
comparing to the other
presence in
economies,
terms
this
of,
is quite a fast growing number. The consumer spend, and
these 11
we
countries are
recently
roughly
did some
75%
study
of
with
the
one of the top consulting
GDP
companies,
spending
and we came
potential
up to a conclusion that
smart
public.
public,
I mean,
actually,
various criteria
that
and categories.
in the next 5 years,
the internet using population in Africa is going to be 700
So
that's a little bit about Africa, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. I think it's really important about to set that 700 million people with access to smartphones. We are leading with average age of
we are leading the e-commerce
24,
platform in
23.
Africa.
The way
This
Jumia is structured
really,
is three pillars.
big.
One is
the
huge
marketplace,
potential, right? And
where
I think thousands of sellers are able to sell their products and services to millions of consumers in Africa.
People.
These sellers are going to majorly come from Africa, but we are beginning to
going to be
shopping
for
online.
the last 2-3
years
years
from
from
sellers
look,
all over the
we
world.
need to be there,
right?
So
all over
that's
the
really
world
about the
now.
potential.
The second platform is
what
the
is happening
logistics
today?
platform of Jumia, where
Today,
today the penetration of third-party
retail
players
and
in general e-commerce
from
these
quite
merchants
limited
to
in
these
Africa,
consumers. To give you stats, and then
one-
the third platform is the
one
Jumia
shop,
payments,
so
which is basically
mom and pop store or
seamlessly
whatever,
doing
retail store.
one preparing the payment solutions
70,000
for
people in Africa.
all these transactions.
That
Okay, and all
number
these transactions,
compared
payments
to
have to be done via
US
US
is
is
like
like
1
1
is to
to
1,000.
1,000.
Very
Okay.
high level.
So that's
the
structure
gap.
of
Europe, I
Jumia.
think, is actually less than
Some
1,000.
high level
I don't
numbers.
remember
We
top
are
of my mind.
currently
Okay.
listed in
Out of that,
NYSE. We are going through a blackout period because
so
of our earnings
roughly
releases next
$2.5
month. So I
trillion
cannot share
was
very
spent to
recent numbers,
2018 on
but some
consumer
high level
spending in
numbers which are
Africa.
public and were shared by us
1%, or maybe
before,
even
just to
less
get a
than
sense
1%
of
in e-commerce.
what Jumia is.
In China,
Last year
e-commerce is 20%,
we had
US
about
is 12%.
110,000
So if you put
merchants
those
selling
numbers
on
together,
Jumia,
okay,
to
and
about
if you're seeing those in context, and you're saying
6.5
that,
million
look, wow,
customers,
okay,
close to 1 billion visits on our website,
700 million
across
people.
all the platforms and all the countries
using the internet.
and
Only
so
1%
that's a little bit
population
of
on
an
e-commerce.
idea of
This
how
has to
Jumia
grow.
is
There is
in
no way this
Africa.
doesn't have to grow.
Our logistics,
$2.5 trillion
we have
close to
was spent 2 years
we do
ago, or
close
it's going to
to
be spent this year, or
200,
something
300,
200, 300
you have to be
partners
there,
in
right? So-
Africa, from small
So
to
that's
very
really
big,
setting up
from the likes of
Africa
very
in overall
small
context, okay?
guy on the scooter
geographically,
delivering as a partner to the
lot
likes
of countries,
Aramex and
but
DHL. So
I think
very
70-75%
big
of the
partners.
GDP of
We did
Africa
close
is
to
in the
with
top
this whole
12, 13
network, we did
countries.
close to 25.6
As Jumia,
million
we are based
deliveries
in
last
11
year.
countries
So
in
that's
Africa.
really
We are
like
leading
the kind of size
e-commerce
and the kind of focus.
platform in those
In
countries.
terms of
wisdom.
businesses, we're fairly spread.
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
West
We
Africa,
start with
North Africa.
So I'm in Egypt.
They're fairly equal.
Egypt,
and
Tunisia,
quite big,
Algeria,
big markets for
Morocco.
us. Nigeria,
These
and
are
Egypt
on the northern side, the four countries.
Then on the Western Africa, we have Senegal, Ghana, Ivory Coast. Nigeria is a very big country, so
Kenya
these
and
four.
Uganda and South
Then on the
Africa,
east
which
side, we
forms
do
the
today Kenya and
block at the
Uganda,
end, completing
and then we're
our
present
kind
in
of
South
business value.
Africa.
So that's really
that's a geographical
high
presence
level
in terms of Jumia numbers and Africa consumer spend, and these 11
So that
countries
is
are roughly
very interesting.
70-75% of the
I find that Africa
GDP
fascinating.
spending
We're only
potential,
live with our business in
smartphone
Egypt,
potential. I
but,
mean, various criteria and
when you do the
categories, and
consulting
thus
and
it
look
makes
at the
sense for
numbers,
us to be in these
I
countries.
think you mentioned this rising
So
population.
that's a little bit
right?
about Africa, and we'll talk a little
That's
bit more about it.
fascinating.
I think it's really
More and more
important
people are
to
coming into the
set that
economic
message
world.
right.
And then there is
Jumia. We are leading, as I said, we are leading the e-commerce platform in Africa. The way Jumia is structured.
And then the other thing that's very interesting about Africa, especially about
one
the city you live
the
in,
marketplace,
there's rising urbanization. So people are
thousands
moving
of sellers are able to sell their
to
products
urban
and
city
services
centers,
to millions
which
of
makes
consumers in
e-commerce
Africa.
that much more
These
interesting and
sellers
easier to do in a way.
majorly come from Africa, but
I
we
think
are looking to
Cairo,
open our platforms for the last 2-3 years to sell it all
by
over the world.
2030 is going to be the biggest city
all
on the
over
planet.
the world now. The second platform is the logistics platform of Jumia, where you
deal
have
with all the traffic, but
thousands of third-party.
Sometimes, when I have to meet people, I tell them let's meet in Dubai instead of. I live in New Cairo instead of going to October. I said, guys, when we are in Dubai, we'll meet. Okay.
Basically
But yes,
and preparing the payment systems for
to meet here than
all these
over there.
transactions.
But,
and all these transactions.
Urbanization. So 2025, I read some numbers in some report. 2025, 45% of Africa would be urbanized. 45%. Some high-level numbers. We are currently listed in NYSE. We are going through a blackout period because of our earnings one of the things
next month.
we are
So I cannot
realizing
share
with
very
Jumia is
recent
it's
numbers,
very interesting, and
but some high-level numbers which are public and were shared by us
let's
before,
say
just to get a
let's
sense
say
of,
the Dubai
what
and Oman,
what
maybe
Jumia
because I
is.
was listening to Varun and
Last year we had about
in Africa,
110,000 merchants
Jumia is
selling
not
on
just
Jumia
giving solution
to
in
about
tier 1 regions. Jumia is also giving a solution of
6.5 million
access
customers,
in tier 3 regions. Okay,
close
So,
to 1 billion visits on our website
deliveries, our
across all
distribution
the
of our
platforms in
sales
all
is
the
actually
countries.
quite distributed. Okay,
And so that's a
and
little bit of an
25
idea of how
25%,
Jumia is
if
in
I'm right,
Africa.
across all countries
Our
combined, are
logistics,
actually coming from what we
we have
tier 3
close
and
to
tier 4
regions in
we do
Africa.
close to
Because simply
200,
we give
200,
access to
300
people to
partners in
merchandise
Africa, from
which they
small to
wouldn't
very
have
big.
otherwise.
So that's
From the
also
likes
an
of very
interesting
small
town or village,
guy
etc.
on the scooter delivering as a partner to the likes of
Let's
Starbucks
talk
and
about.
DHL.
So you said you're
very
getting
big
started,
sector of partners.
listing
We did
non-African
close to,
brands
with
and
this whole
companies, on
network, we did
Jumia.
close to 25.6
Let's be,
million deliveries last
to the
year.
point and
So
talk
that's
about
really like
if I'm a Turkish
the
brand,
kind
a
of
mega brand, let's
size
say
and the kind of
in
focus.
fashion and consumer
In
goods.
terms of
How can I
businesses,
get started?
spread.
Where would you? Is there one Jumia
Africa,
central that I go and I list, in multiple countries? Would I have to list individually in Jumia? How does that work?
Potential and also
I think
biggest
it's
countries right now.
it's a good transition. Okay, so I made some slides.
Okay, and then there is Kenya and Uganda and South Africa, which
just
forms
for you
the
to get a sense
block
of it,
at the
right?
end, completing our kind of
We
business value.
started
So that's really
sort of this
high level
piece which I'm managing
Jumia
now, Jumia called
numbers
Jumia
in
Global
Africa and
Business. Okay, we
potential.
started this piece about a
So
couple
that
of
is
years ago.
very interesting.
The mission was bringing all the merchants all over the world to this whole fast evolving consumer space in Africa. Okay, and the aim is to open multiple sources, and we are going like geography by geography, and we are beginning to open. So we started with China,
rising
all these reasons,
okay.
And then we started a pilot with a hub in Dubai.
And then the other thing that's very interesting about Africa, especially about the city you live in,
and then now
rising
we
urbanization.
have
So people are moving
started
rural parts to urban city centers, which makes e-commerce that much more interesting and easier to do in a way.
We have Flow Shoes.
I think Cairo,
and we're seeing great traction.
In by 2030 is
last week we are running a campaign on Jumia Morocco. So if you go to Jumia Morocco right now, you see a campaign running
with all the traffic,
on Jumia Morocco just for Turkish sellers.
Sometimes when I have to meet people, I tell them let's meet in Dubai instead of
I live in New Cairo
from Turkey instead of going to
October.
I said, guys, when we are in Dubai,
in
we'll
Morocco.
meet, okay? But
yes,
okay, and we are facilitating it through a brand and logistic partners. So it's quite amazing.
Urbanization.
That's really
2025.
Let me
I read
just
some
share my
numbers
slides,
and then I can
2025,
talk you 45% of Africa would be urbanized. 45% of the population would be urbanized.
Yes, I can see that.
Huge, great, huge potential. I have talked about this already.
One of the things which we are realizing with Jumia is, and it's very interesting, and it's not so similar to let's say the Dubai.
I think
to
answer your question and also cover a little bit more people before, but so generally
in Africa,
there are two methods to work with Jumia. If you're a seller out of the Jumia
giving a
countries,
solution
if you're a cross-border
in
seller,
tier 3 regions,
okay? So
the two things
our
are very
deliveries,
simple,
our distribution
and the team
of
from
our
Amazon had
sales is
described
quite distributed, okay,
everything
and
of it already,
25%
in
if
very,
I'm
very
right, across
detailed
all
manner,
countries
technical
combined,
manner, but
are actually
basically
coming from what
it's
we
very
call
simple.
tier 3 and tier 4
The first
regions
step,
in
the
Africa.
stock stays
Okay,
with you in
simply
your
we
base
give
country.
access
So
to
you
people
are
to
in
merchandise which
Turkey,
they
the
wouldn't
stock
have
stays
otherwise.
with you.
So that's also
You are
important
listed
piece.
in
town or village, etc.
our
So
country. So
they own
the good part about Jumia is,
let's
because
talk
we
about.
started
So
developing
you
this
said you're getting
technology about 2
started.
years ago, we have
Listing
something what is called Global
non-African
Vendor
brands
Center.
and
So
companies.
you don't need to worry
Jumia.
about duplicating your
Let's be
assortment and
to the
content
point
in all
and
countries.
talk about
Okay, you just upload
if
your
I'm a Turkish
content
brand,
and you
mega
just
brand,
decide,
let's
okay,
say
now I will
in
switch on
fashion
Morocco,
and consumer
I will
goods,
switch on Nigeria, I will
how
switch
can
on
I get
Egypt.
started?
These are the products. So you basically
Where would you? Is there one Jumia
I
central that I go and I
Yes.
list,
So,
in multiple
so
countries?
the
Would I have
three
to list
languages is
individually in
French,
Jumia?
Arabic,
How does that
and
work?
English. Okay.
I think
Today, the Global
it's a
Vendor
good
Center
transition.
is
Okay, so
sort of
to
supporting
I made
only
some slides I
English
will
and
share with the
French,
audience, but
and you have to
we have to
do an Arabic
just for you to
translation.
get a
Okay.
sense of it, right?
But we're working
we
on it. It should be
started
something very soon.
sort of this
Okay.
whole
So in
piece
terms
which
of
I'm
operating
managing now
model,
in
it's
Jumia
very
called
simple.
Jumia
Okay.
Global
The
Business.
product
Okay,
stays
we
with
started
you.
this piece
The
about a
order
couple
comes
of
on your
years ago.
Global Vendor Center.
The
see,
mission
hey, I've
was
got an order
bringing
to
all
ship
the
now.
merchants all
You
over
pick
the
packet
world
from your
to
warehouse
this
and you ship
whole
it, and you
fast
decide to hand
evolving
over to one
consumer
of the
space in
logistics
Africa.
partners.
Okay,
And then it comes to our country, and I
the
will
aim is
explain
to
that
open
later. And the second
multiple
model is
sources,
consignment,
and
which
we're
is
going
very
like
similar
geography
to
by geography,
the
and
fulfillment by
beginning to open.
Amazon,
So we
which the
started with
Amazon team
China
was talking.
for
In
obvious
terms of
reasons,
physical
okay?
flow, it would look
And then
exactly like that.
we started a
You
pilot with
you
a hub
send
in
your
Dubai with
products,
some partners,
your items, your stock
logistics and
beforehand to
supply
one
chain
of our
partners.
warehouses in
And
the
then now
destination
we
countries.
have already
And then
started
these in those destination
working with
countries,
some
they're
brands
stocked.
from Turkey. So we have
We call it Jumia
which is
Express.
selling in Morocco. We
The
have
reason
de
is because the value
facto,
proposition to the customer is that you get it like
and we're
immediately,
seeing
you get it
great
the same
traction.
day.
Okay,
In
so
fact,
it's very simple for the
The
customer.
5 days you
we are
mentioned
running a
in
campaign on
Morocco,
Jumia
is
Morocco.
that
So if you go
the
to Jumia Morocco right
consignee
now,
model,
you will see a
consignment model,
campaign.
or is that
No,
on
it's
Jumia
the
Morocco
drop shipping
just for
model.
Turkish
The
sellers.
5 days not
And
normal
it's showing
business.
great
Okay?
traction.
The
It's showing
5
great
days
traction.
because we decided to plan this
Fashion
campaign. We've
from
already
Turkey,
pre-booked
delivered in
space on the
5 days
flight,
in
and there's a lot
Morocco.
of planning which has gone into
Amazing
it. Okay,
traction.
on a normal
and
day-to-day
we are
business, this is
facilitating
like
it
9
through a
days,
brand
7
of
to 9 days. Okay?
logistics
And then,
partners. So
but
it's
if
quite
it was
amazing.
consignment
But that's
and it
really
was
the
already
history.
in the
So let me
country,
just share my slides, and
same
then
day
I
or
can
next
talk
day.
you through it.
okay.
Okay, so if
Please
you order
confirm
before a certain
if you
time
can
in the
see
day,
them.
depends on the
Yes,
day.
I can see them.
We move campaigns.
Okay, great.
But
So
today, if you order before 2
I have
p.m.,
talked about this
you'll
already.
probably get
So
it
let's
in
move
Casablanca.
fast.
You'll
If
get
there is
it today,
something, I will show
or
you
tomorrow early
guys.
morning. If you order after that, you get it after 24 hours. So it's just a cut-off timing. Okay.
Great.
So I think to answer your question
one
and
question
also
is,
cover a little
do you
bit
operate
more.
only as a marketplace model, or do you do e-commerce?
So
Do you purchase
generally,
and
there are two
sell your
methods to work with Jumia. If you're a seller out of the Jumia countries, okay.
Great.
If you're a cross-border seller, we use the word
So
cross-border. Okay.
Sorry,
The two things are very simple, and the
So
team from
I
Amazon
thought so, but
have
it was a question that
described
I just want to inject.
everything
Go ahead,
of it already.
Then
in very,
I
very
think,
detailed manner, so technical manner, but
I have
basically
explained this
it's very simple.
drop
The
shipping.
first step,
I
the
think,
stock stays with
what
you in your
would be a
base
little bit
country. So
important
you
for
are
me
in
to really
Turkey, the stock
address
stays
here,
with you.
and if
You are
allow me
listed
a little
in
bit on
what is the
in our
uniqueness
country.
of value
So,
propositions
the good
with
part
respect
about
to some
Jumia
of the
is
questions
because
you
we
were
started
asking.
developing
Okay,
this
I can
technology about 2
preempt
years
it a
ago,
little
we
bit.
have
Okay,
something what is called
the
a
questions
global
on
vendor
return,
center.
etc.
So
Right? You don't
okay.
need to worry about
So,
duplicating your
so
assortment.
this
and
is a slide
content
which
in
sort
all
of
countries.
shows
Okay,
some
you
of
just
the
upload your
questions people
content,
were asking on
and you just
return
decide, okay,
policy and
now I will
customer
switch
service,
on
and
Morocco. I
I
will
was
switch
typing
on
it while I was
Nigeria. I will
listening
switch
to
on
the
Egypt.
questions.
These
Okay.
are the products. So you
I think
basically have a
same
few
catalog.
things. Okay,
Over many
we have a
languages, I
slightly
imagine.
restrictive return policy for our
So
cross-border
you do
sellers. The
this.
three
local
languages
sellers,
is
okay.
French,
So
Arabic,
if you're a
and
local,
English.
if you order
Okay.
from a local seller
Today,
based
the
in,
Global
let's
Vendor
take an
Center
example
is
Morocco,
sort of
okay.
supporting
So the
only
sellers based
English
in French,
and you have
Casablanca
to do
or
an
in
Arabic
Fez or in Rabat,
translation.
okay.
Then the customer has
But
slightly
we're
more
working
options
on to return. As a customer, I can return the piece saying, so in terms of operating model, it's very classic example. Okay, the product stays when you're ordering from the order comes on your global vendor center. Quite visible in your customer journey flow that you pick packet from your warehouse and you ship it, and you decide to hand over to one of the logistics partners. Turkey, and then it comes China or from France. So be a bit careful, and you cannot do. And the second model is change my mind consignment, okay, which so you have to be a bit more focused on it. The fulfillment by Amazon. So we restrict some of the return reasons. In terms of physical flow, it would look exactly like that. after the order is shipped, products, your items, your stock beforehand to one of the customer on the website can go and cancel packages in local fulfillment destination countries. But in cross-border, you cannot cancel. We call it Jumia Express. If the order has been shipped by the value proposition to the customer is that you get it already immediately, you get it the same day.
But I imagine that you have days you mentioned in cash on delivery. Is that component to the consignee model, consignment model, or is that
no? It's the drop shipping model. Yes, for local 5 days, not normal cross-border business. The 5 days because we decided to plan this campaign. We've already pre-booked space in the flight, and there's a lot when we do that, we give sellers a very normal day-to-day business analysis of what to expect. And thus factor it in their pricing.
Consignment, and it was already in the country. So it's a compromise on conversion rates versus.
So if you order before certain time in the day, it depends on the day. I mean, we exactly campaigns. Exactly. Also, today, if you order before some insight, and again, probably get it in Casablanca, you get it today. Or tomorrow we launched this Jumia Pay, our payment method, and the integrator for all payment methods. And our payment.
One question is:
so what
do you operate only as a marketplace model, or do you do e-commerce
cash on delivery or payment on delivery? We are 100%. This numbers really become quite substantially good. Okay, and like I can tell you compared to like India, even India when I was in India. Okay,
so I thought so, but it was a question that I just
want to. Some countries it is majority.
Go ahead,
okay, depending on the payment solutions available in. I think so. It's really evolving, and also consignment also being helped by the fact that our cross-border business is becoming stronger. So when you have like X% of your business address here, just serving you on prepaid, then in general. What is the uniqueness of value propositions with respect to some of the questions you were asking? Okay, and I can preempt it a little bit. Okay,
the questions on return. If some of the audience is not aware of, like they're not informed about
this is a slide that sort of shows some of the questions people were asking on return policy and customer service, and I was typing it while I was listening to the questions. Okay. I think
can you tell a bit more about how you're tackling
we have a slightly restrictive return policy for I just switched to a slide which is a little bit focused on payments. So if you're a local, if you order from a local seller, we have one of the most diversified payment based in portfolio I have seen across e-commerce or in Fez or in Rabat. Okay, then the customer has simply more options to return. As a customer, I can return the innovative and creative. Hey, I changed my mind. We are working in 11 countries, but when you're ordering from them cross-border, and all of them have quite different visible in your customer journey flow that we specifically mentioned demography, this availability of bank chip solutions, etc. So we really have to develop a very strong France. So be a bit careful. And you can today we can change my mind and also you have to be a bit more focused on it. And I must add, okay, so that Mastercard became our shareholder a couple of years ago, and that has really brought a lot of good. After the order is shipped, and we've sort of they've been heavily integrated. The customer on the website can go and cancel packages. In local fulfillment. Okay? So basically, we but in cross-border, do every single kind of. This is very clear to you. If the order has been shipped, so let's talk about the payment on delivery options, and I will give you some use cases, and it's really.
But I imagine that you have quite a high cash on delivery.
So we do typical cash on delivery like everybody else. So the customer, the delivery agent comes to you, you give cash. Yes, for local business, but for cross-border business, we open cash on delivery only if the seller wants to. We do something which is. And which is facilitation of the when we do that, we give sellers a very accurate analysis of what to expect and thus factor it in their pricing. The guy is carrying a Jumia Pay app, which is integrated with the delivery app. So you can use your Jumia Pay account, etc. You can also pay on delivery. For example, in Kenya, exactly M-Pesa, exactly. Also, mobile payments very popular in Kenya. Again, because of the blackout period, I can't share the numbers. Then there are some hybrid models. We've been very Jumia Pay, our payment method, and one I like integrator very common methods and our payment by Fori in Egypt. So what we call is prepaid. You essentially order something and then you get like a delivery or payment, and then you have to go to your nearest point and deliver a cash. Really, and the moment that trigger is done, your package is released. I can tell you compared to like India, even India, because of the India, okay, the numbers all the kind of demographics, customers, countries, and what depending on the payment solutions available. We sort of have developed so it's really these payment methods, and also it is also being helped by the fact that our cross-border business is becoming stronger. Then when you have like
one thing I think for the audience to hear is that
just
you kind of solve for
prepaid,
that,
then
right?
In general,
in Kenya you have the M-Pesa,
because the assortment is
in Egypt you have Fawry. Fawry,
Vodafone Cash.
On the payments, because I think if some of the audience is not so aware of payment options, they're not informed about business in Africa, then Africa has very unique and creative ways to go build a site themselves. And I imagine that your payment solution has some of those integrated.
It's something,
when you spend 7 years
in the market and you understand it's a very, very big enabler for your business. I just switched to a slide which is a little bit focused on payment. It's something which is extremely important. But essentially, we have one of the most diversified payment. As I said, we've been lucky. Portfolio I have seen across e-commerce companies in my journey to us, and then we have very good. Simple reason is because, as you said, Africa is extremely innovative and creative. So we are working in 11 countries, and not all of them are same. Very focused, and all of them have different regulations, and all of them have different kind of customer demography. Two things: availability of banking solutions, etc. So we really had to develop a very strong, very unique in the sense. Today, when you can package on and also. And for some reason, the customer rejects it. I must add, that MasterCard became our shareholder a couple of years ago, and that has really it automatically comes back to our local fulfillment center. They've been heavily gets integrated with us, and it's again live to be sold. It's a real strong project. So and we have a very specific marketing mechanism to push that, because we really care. Let's talk about the sellers and delivery options, money for them sitting in our warehouse. Okay, really, so this kind of unique value proposition doesn't exist. So we do typical cash on delivery ship like everybody else via other platforms in Africa versus Jumia. Cash, because if the local warehouse, so you send a package in the hub, and get delivered, no problem. It comes back and sit in our local fulfillment center. We do something still live to you as an SKU, which is facilitation. Order will come on that SKU on delivery first. So basically, it will be fulfilled from what is present in our warehouse locally. POS machine. Then you will get the order in your global vendor center. The guy is carrying a Jumia Pay app, which is integrated with the delivery app. So you can use your Jumia Pay account. For example, you can also pay on delivery. For example, in Kenya, using M-Pesa delivery is mobile payments very popular in Kenya. Even if it goes back in Morocco, it will get delivered tomorrow. As long as some hybrid models which are very so it allows them to have the buffer of the return rate and say, look, I still have to go in Egypt, where that's number essentially order something and then you get like a Africa, we realize then you have to go to your nearest point and deliver the cash and the currency. And the moment that trigger is done, and that is why we decided package is released, work with available for you delivery. So, and we said, okay, because of the virtue of all the kind of demographies, customers, countries, and what is available, all the transactions and everything, we sort of have developed these payment methods. Okay, so that is really high level view. Okay, with us and a partner which we are working with us.
Then you're somehow hedging.
Yeah, with some hedging,
here is that
and sometimes it can be it has
Kenya you have
both. We've had some losses.
In Egypt, you have Fawry,
because we want to grow, Vodafone Cash. We have everything. Least worried about.
You just give so many more payment
formula. We say this is the exchange rate you price upon it. Sometimes it might be the market rate. Sometimes it might not be the market rate.
Go build a site themselves, etc.
The market rate is not really what works. Yeah, no, it's something when you spend 7 years in the market, the sellers, you understand it on the FX. Very big enabler for your business, right? I mean, it's a very big enabler. They are protected from the fluctuation, and they get benefited from the reliability of the progress. And thus, as I said, we've been lucky. Plan their Mastercard's revenue, profit, and the entire we have very good profitability equation independent of this. So that's also something which is very unique with Jumia.
Go ahead.
And also very 2 minutes very focused on the cross-border, right? I mean, to work on Jumia. I think that's a very strong value proposition which I wanted to highlight. Two things, okay. Our model, because
sounds
we have
great. I think one question that is coming
is very unique in the sense.
I think people see the opportunity of these 700 million internet users.
And for some reason, the customer rejects it or it does not reach the customer.
There's a question about basket size.
It automatically comes back to our local fulfillment center, gets inbounded, and it's again live to be sold. It's a bit like I said, I cannot share. And we have a very specific marketing mechanism to push that, because we really care. For the sellers, in general, we know that the money for them sitting in our warehouse. So this kind of unique value compared to Europe or US, or if you want to ship via other platforms in Africa, a little bit cognizant. Because if the local, what I can give is a good indicator is that it comes back and if you go to one of our websites, still live start seeing cross-border, and when the order will come on that SKU, first, which is it will be fulfilled from what is present in our warehouse locally. You will see then you will get the order in your global vendor center in Turkey to ship small electronics.
And even on the smartphone side, etc., you will see more low-end. For example, the sellers in Turkey, and they are again a function Trendyol, for example, is doing cash on delivery in Morocco. What is the need in the market? I mean, even if it goes back in Morocco, having said that, get delivered tomorrow as long as seller base in our hub in Dubai. So we were trying to allow them to have the buffer of the return rate and say, look, I still have to grow the business. Because that's number one. The availability of second thing, consignment in Dubai is quite good. We realized very quickly while we saw good purchase in pockets, it is not something we thought we can scale. And that is why we decided to sort of not in line work with some partners. And we said, okay, we're going to give you a preset.
Understood. And there's a clarification question about your consignment
and all
model.
the transactions and everything is fixed.
Can Jumia handle the first mile and the last mile? Do they need a company locally?
With us and a partner which
so in what you're doing, you're somehow hedging.
No, they don't. Yeah, we somehow hedging company locally. And sometimes it can be. It has both. We've had some losses also. It's not easy, but because we want to grow and we want to make sure that partners are at least worried about it. We tell them the pricing formula. We say this is the exchange rate you price upon it. Sometimes it might be the market rate. Sometimes it might not be the market rate, because in some countries, the market rate is not really what works.
Go ahead, please.
And then we always remit the sellers back on the FX rate what we have agreed. No, you don't need today a local company. They are protected from the fluctuation, and they get benefited from the reliability of the IOR. And we have a strong marketplace, really sort of logistics, plan their providers, revenue, profit, and the entire in our country's profitability equation, independent of this. So that's also something which is very unique with Jumia, and also very, very sort of
that sounds great.
For the cross borders.
I think there's quite a bit of interest in talking to you and getting to work with Jumia and getting interested.
Sounds great. I think one question that is coming is one thing that Mr. Hassan is asking is there can be more time slots for these Turkish brands to meet with Jumia. There's a question about basket size.
Definitely. Tell me how to facilitate it over an email, and we can. I have a full team, and we can broadcast. Look, it's a bit. Like I said, I cannot share exact data because they're in this dark period with respect to NYC. But in general, the basket sizes in Africa are
remarks
quite low compared to
Turkish
Europe
brands,
or US or
in Africa with
Dubai, etc. Okay, yeah, and this is something which we have to be a little bit cognizant of. There are hundreds. What I can give is a good indicator is that okay. If you go to one of our websites, we start seeing cross-border, you will see a lot of fashion, which is in the, so in general about sub $15 range. You will see a lot of experience with e-commerce in India and China, small electronics, and then Africa. And even on the smartphone side, etc., you will see more what we call as point of inflex. And they are again a e-commerce market is in its 7th to 8th tier in most of the big countries. The need in the market. If you look at Alibaba, having said that, in India, when we started our seller base in our hub in Dubai, we were trying to push these companies suddenly high value products, as X times. I mean, I can tell you the numbers, but most of them pivoted between 5x to 7x between their 7th year and 10th. While we saw good, why? Because a variety of things, right? It is not something we thought begin to understand the market. The payment solution is not the infrastructure came up. Some interesting things happened,
and
boom by government on
digital
payment, etc. So in Africa, we are in 7th
Jumia handle the first
most of our countries now.
Do they need
we are already beginning to see the tipping point. This COVID-induced lockdown. No, they don't. You don't need any company. The potential and the mindset shift of the customer. You don't need. So it's a very interesting time to get an answer. And I think the window is from now to about next 24 months. You get in now, you would be writing stories like what Alibaba and Amazon have written, 10 years from now. So that's one important thing.
You're unmuted.
Okay. Then second, in general, I mean, these are observations which folks from Amazon were also saying. But these are nice things I want to emphasize this to, especially to the brands. So, no, you don't need today a local company, right? Okay. What you need spend their time thinking about commercial negotiations, pointing out you need an IOR, and we have a strong marketplace. I think what is more, and they delegate like the operations and running business to a junior, and you can ship in our countries using those providers. The real key success is absolutely the real decision maker, the person who's a decision maker. That person should spend time in really operations on.
That sounds great, and I think there's quite a bit of interest in talking to you and getting to work with Jumia and getting interested.
These
interested in working in Africa.
Should not be delegated, so that is very critical.
One thing that Mr. Hassan is asking is, there can be more time slots for these Turkish brands to meet
the real
with Jumia.
success in African market.
Yes,
okay,
yes, definitely.
Then
tell me how
second
to facilitate.
thing is, a lot of people focus
over an
on
email
again,
and
commercial negotiations.
I
Might
have a full team and
10% broadcasting. The
I
real
think between Turkish
e-commerce
Business
is
Council and
really
Mr.
focusing on your
Hassan's
cost of
team,
fulfillment.
hopefully we can do
And
that.
if you're able to really micro it and start solving it, I think in the end, the way e-commerce is going to grow, it's always going to be a thin commission,
Turkish
or
brands,
low
in Africa with
percentage
Jumia.
business, but it's really going to scale. Okay, and that's
Look,
really something very important. And my request and my advice,
there are hundreds of things I would like to share, but
who would start with us,
and I'll take 30 more
that's
seconds.
where your focus should be initially.
Let me take a few more
And then
minutes. We
once you
started a bit
scale,
late our
you can
section,
always do
so
a commercial
I think we can take
negotiation at any
couple more
given point
minutes.
of time. Okay,
Please
but if
share.
you don't put attention
Great.
on those
So
things,
in general about Africa,
you're
guys,
really
okay?
not going to scale initially. Personally, I have a lot of experience with e-commerce in
that
India,
is great,
and
and I
China, a
guess
little bit,
as
and then
a-
Africa now.
The main
Africa
player in
is
Africa,
at
you
a
bring
tipping
lot of
point,
that to
what
the
we call
table.
as point of influx.
Right.
The African e-commerce really focus in its 7th to 8th
Solving
tier in
for,
most of the big countries we're talking about.
these
If you
operational
look at
issues
Alibaba, if you
in a
look at
place where,
Flipkart in India, if
frankly,
you look at Amazon
it's
in the
not so
US,
easy to
okay,
solve.
most of
Right? And
these
that I think is your
economies
great
and these
differentiation
companies
as Jumia.
suddenly
So
pivoted,
there's a lot of interest in meeting
X
you.
times. I mean, I can tell you numbers,
I'm
but
being asked to
most of them
make you
pivoted between
promise
5x to 7x
that you're
between
going to
their
get your
7th tier
team,
and 10th tier. Okay, why? Because
tomorrow,
a variety of things, right? The
actively involved
people
with these Turkish
begin to
brands.
understand
So
the
I think there's
market,
a
the
lot of
payment
promise.
solution came up, the
It's going to be
infrastructure
hopefully
came up.
very good
Some
impact both for
little,
them and
some
for Jumia's
interesting things
business.
happened, you know.
Thank you so much, Apurva.
Boom by government
great
on digital
presentation.
payment, etc., etc.
Really,
So in Africa,
I
we are
learned a
in
lot as
7th
well.
tier.
Although
In
I
most
thought
of
I
our
knew
countries now,
Africa,
we are
I think
already
there's a great
beginning to
opportunity in
see
these 11
the
markets.
tipping point.
Any more
This
expansion? Is it going
COVID-induced
to be a 12 or
lockdown
13th
showed us
market?
the potential and the mindset shift
because
of the customers.
I think there is expansion,
that expansion more focused on
and
the service
I think
lines.
the window is
And then
from
inside
now
these
till about
countries
next
also, like
24
we
months.
go from
If you
tier
get
1
now,
to tier 2 to tier 3.
you would be writing
not
stories like what
Alibaba and Amazon have written, 10 years from now. So
Thank you
that's
so
one
much,
important
and
thing.
look forward to these
Then
brands.
second, in general, I mean,
working
these
with
are
you and,
observations
hopefully getting more
which
Turkish
folks from
brands out there
Amazon
in
were also
South
saying.
Yes, we have
But
just started
very,
building our
very
hub in
clearly, I want to
Turkey.
emphasize
We are in the
to-
first few
especially
months,
to
and the
brands
more
and to
the
sellers
merrier,
and the
because it
owners
would
and
help
the
us support,
CEOs, right?
build the
A
hub
lot
and
of
thus
CEOs
bring the
spend their
cost
time
down, and
thinking
then we
about
can support
commercial
better.
negotiations and
So-
commercial
so
operations. Okay.
Just to be clear, you're
In
holding.
e-commerce,
You're
I think what is more,
starting a
and they
hub in
delegate like the
Istanbul, I
operations
imagine?
and running business to a junior
so we're
team,
starting it
okay?
with a partner
In
essentially.
e-commerce,
The
the
idea
real
is to
key success.
so today
is
we have
the
some
owner
partners
and
who are
the real
sort of
decision
one
maker,
partner,
the person who's a decision
one
maker.
seller. Okay,
That person should
but
spend
then
time on
the
really
way we operate
operations,
is when
on
we see
our
there is enough
stock,
volume,
on
we
the
actually go and
content
put a
of what you're
physical
writing on the
infrastructure, a
website,
consolidation
on
hub where we
shipping
will
fast,
receive all
how
the
you're
volumes,
packing,
and then
these
sorted
kind of
country wise,
things should
etc.
not
I
be
mean, today it is a
delegated.
very
So that is
pilot
very
mode, okay, but
critical
we
for
realize
your
the
shop
potential
to initially
and
get the right
all our
customer
country
attention,
teams are
feedback, and trust.
extremely like
The real
interested.
success in
My
African
Ghana
market.
CEO
Okay?
just called me in the morning
Then,
and saying, "Hey, when can we start
second
Turkey to
thing
Ghana?
is a lot
And
of
when
people
can we start
focus
Turkey
on,
to
again,
Kenya?"
commercial
So there's
negotiations
a lot of
might commission
interest
from the
5%,
country management
10%,
team. So
15%.
this year is going to be a
The
breakthrough
real
year. We're going to
key
spend
of
the next
growing
3-4 months
e-commerce
with the
is
team trying to
really focusing on your
supply
cost
chain
of
from
fulfillment.
Istanbul to all these
And
countries.
if you're able to really
and I think the
micro
more
it
support we
and
can
start
get from the
solving it,
government, from the
I think in the
sellers
end,
there,
the way
it's
e-commerce is
going
going to
to
grow,
be
it's always going to be a
one of
thin
the
commission
purposes
or
tomorrow for
low,
us is also to gather that support
percentage
and,
business, but
and
it's
to
really going to
understand
scale.
how can
Okay,
we
and
work
that's really
together.
something very important. And my request
Sounds
and my
great.
advice
Thank you so
to
much, Apurva.
most
and,
of the
look forward to
sellers
staying
who
in
would
touch.
start with us,
And
that
I think there's
that's
a lot of
where
people
your
that still want
focus
to
should
talk to
be
you, but
initially.
hopefully
And then
happens,
once you scale, I mean,
today
you
and
can always
tomorrow.
do a commercial
Just as a
negotiation
final
at any
note,
given
I'm
point of
so
time.
happy
Okay, but if you
to
don't put
have
attention
held
on
this
those things,
these series of
you're really
discussions.
not going to
We
scale
talked to Jumia about launching Turkish brands.
That is great, and I guess
Africa
as a
key markets,
the main player,
that's a great
Africa,
opportunity.
bring a
We
lot of that
talked
to the
to
table.
Oman Post about
we
Oman
have,
as a
we have
a
to
blue
and
ocean
really
market.
focus on
We
it.
talked
Yeah.
also
solving for
Amazon
keep these operational issues. So
in a place where
altogether, I hope a lot of Turkish friends go out there. In short order, you're great to appreciate millions, if not billions of dollars.
So there's a lot of interest in meeting you.
And
I'm being asked to make you promise.
Thank you very much.
That you're going to get your team, tomorrow actively involved with these Turkish brands. So I think there's a lot of promise. It's going to be hopefully a very good impact both for them and for Jumia's business. Thank you so much, Apurva. A great presentation. Really, I learned a lot as well. Although I thought I knew Africa, I think there's a great opportunity in these 11 markets. Any more expansion? Is it going to be a 12th or 13th market? coming down the line?
No, because I think there is expansion, but expansion more focused on the service lines. And then inside these countries also, like we go from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3, but not more countries. I mean, we are not looking at it today.
Okay, thank you so much. And look forward to these brands, working with you and hopefully getting more Turkish brands out there and across Africa.
Yes, we have just started building our hub in Turkey. We are in the first few months, and the more the merrier, because it would help us support build the hub and thus bring the cost down, and then we can support better. I think it's really something important.
So just to be clear, you're starting a hub in Istanbul, I imagine?
Yes, so we're starting it with a partner essentially. The idea is to, so today we have some partners who are sort of one partner, one seller, okay? But then the way we operate is when we see there is enough volume, we actually go and put a physical infrastructure, a consolidation hub where we will receive all the volumes and then sort it country-wise, etc. I mean, today it is a very pilot mode, okay? But we realize the potential, and all our country teams are extremely interested. My Ghana CEO just called me in the morning and saying, hey, when can we start Turkey to Ghana, and when can we start Turkey to Kenya? So there's a lot of interest from the country management teams. So this year is going to be a breakthrough year. We're going to spend the next 3-4 months with the team trying to really establish the supply chain from Istanbul to all these countries. And I think the more support we can get from the government, from the sellers there, it's going to be amazing. And one of the purposes tomorrow for us is also to gather that support and to understand how can we work together.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Apurva, and look forward to staying in touch. And I think there's a lot of people that still want to talk to you, but hopefully it happens, today and tomorrow. Just as a final note, I'm so happy to, have held these series of discussions. We talked to Jumia about launching Turkish brands across Africa in 11 key markets. That's a great opportunity. We talked to Oman Post about Oman as a blue ocean market, and we talked to also Amazon, a key player here in the Middle East market. So altogether, I hope a lot of Turkish brands go out there, in short order, makes hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and contribute to the Turkish GDP and the business, and economies of these countries as well. Thank you very much. Ms. Gül, over to you.